Hello everyone, welcome back to Safe for Dummies. Hi Izzy, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. A little bit ill, as you might be able to hear, but I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just seems a bit mean when I say I'm good and you're ill, doesn't it?
Oh well, that's all right.
Yeah, I'll just rub it in. Haha, you feel ill. I don't really mean that. It's just how it sounds.
Thanks so much. Have you got any dummy moments this week?
No, I don't, but I've been informed that you do.
I have a big dummy moment, okay? So
Big one.
Here we go. It's not particularly funny, it's just stupid. Basically, I am notorious for losing stuff. Like, I lose stuff all the time. Yep. I put stuff down and I can't find it. I live in a one-bed flat. Like, how am I losing so much stuff? Anyway, I lost my headphones a few months ago and I found one of them in the pocket of my shorts. So there we go, there's one. I found the other one in a bag or something. So I've got both headphones, but I can't find the case. I've lost the case. How do you lose the headphone case? It's quite big, like it's bigger than a headphone. You can't just put it in a pocket. I checked my car, I checked my room, I checked my lounge, I checked everywhere. And I resigned myself to the fact that I'd lost it. The headphones are dead. I'll just keep them in a drawer. The case is gone. I order some new headphones. Okay, I'm only spending 20 quid, but that's a lot of money to someone like me. I order the new headphones. I use them once and I leave them in my boyfriend's car as he goes to another city. So he's got my headphones, new ones, in his car. And this morning I go to get something out from behind a chair. And what do I find? The headphone case. So now my new headphones are in another city and my old headphones are back on my desk, and I have spent £20 to send my new headphones to another city.
You said that wasn't funny, but that is pretty funny.
It just sums me up as a human being. That is who I am. I'm very organised, but I lose stuff all the time.
Yeah, I've said this before. You are really organised, but this just seems pretty out of character. But the more I'm getting to know you, the more it doesn't seem out of character.
I've got too much else to keep in my brain. I'm organised with stuff inside my brain, but not outside my brain.
Yeah. Although in your story, you were talking about how can I lose the headphone case? While we were just planning to record just now, you dropped them on the floor, didn't you?
That was a different set of headphones. That's my that's my really old headphones. So my first set were my purple headphones and I lost one. So I only have the one in my ear. I'm only ever wearing one headphone when we record this. And then the second set are the ones that I found today. And the third set are the ones in the car.
So why aren't you using the second set today if you've got both?
Because I only found them 5 minutes before we started recording. So they have no charge.
Okay. Well, yeah. Bit of a dummy moment.
I'm just annoyed at myself. But now I have 2.5 sets of headphones. So there we go.
Yeah. Brilliant. Cool. What are we looking at today, Izzy?
Well, as we mentioned on our last episode, today we are looking at something a little bit more serious, a little bit deeper. Rob, you went and spoke to your friend Grace from your church, well, originally from your church, and you chatted to her about the subject of loss. So Grace talks about how she lost her mum a little while ago, and also there were some other losses in her family at the same time. She talked to us in an amazing way about how she dealt with that. So shall we go straight to that interview and not keep people waiting?
Yeah, let's go straight to it.
Okay, great. Over to Rob and Grace.
Hello, everyone. I'm joined by a very special guest here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello. My name's Grace. I'm 20 years old. Yeah, and Rob was my youth worker for a long, long time.
Yeah, great. So that's here in Bedfordshire, where I'm currently recording. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life at the moment? We're doing our questions in a different order, but that's fine. We can handle that, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So I lived kind of near where Rob is now. So I went to church and that's how I know Rob. Yeah. And then I went to university. So currently I'm in my second year of uni at Liverpool. So that's where I spend most of my time when I'm not in holidays. I'm in Liverpool. Great. Yeah.
Cool. And what are you studying?
I study marine biology. So.
Ooh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoy it.
Great. So Grace, as you know, because you are, I'm presuming, a very keen listener to our podcast, one of the things we do is we share any dummy moments from our last week or thereabouts. And I believe you have one to share with us, don't you?
I do, absolutely. As I said to Rob earlier, kind of was thinking about this question and was actually had quite a few possibilities. So it's everything you need to know about me.
Yeah.
The one that stood out the most is really bad weather actually at the moment, despite being in the summer. And it's really rainy in Liverpool. It's really horrible weather most of the time. It was really raining, so I'd come back from uni, but I'd stopped off at Tesco's to get myself a little sweet treat after an exam.
Yeah.
Was head to toe drenched, so kind of came in, was a bit fed up, kind of chucked my bag to the side a bit recklessly just so I could quickly get, comfy clothes on and a cup of tea. And then I had this feeling that I was forgetting something a few hours later. And I remembered that I'd bought this chocolate pudding for myself as like a little celebration in Tesco's. Remembered it was still in the bag, but I remember I threw the bag against the wall. And so when I went to open the chocolate pudding, it exploded in a bag that I only got last week. And both the chocolate pudding and the bag were ruined. So
Oh no.
it was a bit of a letdown.
The bag was ruined as well.
Yeah, it stained because it was a white tote bag.
When you said just then, yeah, it stained, you sounded a little bit scouse.
Is it already happening? Am I being
it's
transformed?
a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, so you lost your pudding and you lost your bag. That's not good.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a little celebration post-exams, but...
Did you immediately go out and buy another chocolate pudding?
I did not, because it was still raining.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay, so you said you knew each other, we knew each other, because I was your previous youth leader.
Yes.
Do you have any highlights or funny moments perhaps of being involved in my youth group? And I promise you listeners, this is not an ego boost for me at all. I promise you, this is purely just to try and promote that if you're not part of a local youth group or local church, to get involved. This is sort of things that we get up to. Okay, Chris.
I think the big obvious highlights, first of all, are the summer camps. They were so good. I remember we used to go to an old one, and then Rob came in and said, there's a new one, and everyone was a bit like, oh, okay, we'll try it out. It's called Dane Hill now.
Yeah.
And that's such a big highlight. Many of us loved that. I met so many new friends.
Brilliant.
But I think the day-to-day being involved, it was on a couple times a week, there was so much fun because we all know each other so well, and loads of inside jokes, loads of games. I just remember playing Exploding Kittens and just getting so animatedly involved in this card game, and it was just such good fun. And Mafia, all the trauma that comes with being a sore loser like myself. But no, it was absolutely great.
Yeah, you got better being a sore loser as you got older, so that was all right.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, great. We need to get out the Exploding Kittens again then, I think.
I need to buy a copy for you.
Yeah. Anyone listening that wants to buy Grace a copy of Exploding Kittens,
this is your
please
chance.
do that. Anyway, moving on. So this podcast, today's episode that we're doing, we're talking about dealing with loss. So Grace, do you want to briefly explain a little bit about how you've experienced loss recently?
So I think most people will know me, but if you don't know me, I'm Grace, and as I said, and basically I grew up in a home kind of with my parents and going to church. We all kind of went to church, and about a year and a half ago I lost my mum. She died, unfortunately, because she was very ill. She had cancer. And I also kind of in that same period, not as extreme, but kind of within 6 months, I lost both of my dogs as well. So it was a period of, I lost a lot of people and pets, I guess, that were really important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was one after another, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, genuinely. It was
can't
catch a break.
Yeah.
No.
It was a sad time, wasn't it? It was a lot for you to go through. And thank you, but first of all, for just sharing a bit about that and what's been going on recently. What kept you going in that time?
Yeah, I think from a practical point of view, the life stage I'm in, so when my mum died, I was in first year uni, so she died in January, so I'd kind of just about settled into life in Liverpool. And I think practically I wanted to keep going because, I've got this degree that's not stopping. It's not slowing down for me. So obviously I spent some time at home, but was quite quickly back in Liverpool because I had exams to do, and
Yeah.
it kind of forced me to keep going because I had things
Yeah.
I had to do. I think on like an emotional level, I didn't want to just completely like take myself out of a situation and stop caring, because I wanted to show up for my other family members.
Yeah.
Because we were all kind of supporting each other, and it was like, even though the times were tough, I knew that we could get through it, and I also knew that my faith and God was still going to work through my story. And so I guess I was just kind of in that period of just clinging on to the hope that good is going to come. So I just got to be patient and wait.
Yeah, and I think you speak about good is going to come. I think obviously what happened is devastating, but we just really hope that what you share can help through people going through something similar.
Yeah.
Who was good for you to talk to or go to or whatever, and why those people?
Yeah, I mean, I can say that like throughout this journey, I've been so blessed. Like, I've had such an incredible support system that like, I think unfortunately it's kind of the thing that you don't really get to see until you've gone through something really rough. But that's something that's really spoken to me. I mean, particularly, I'd say my immediate family, from the point of view that they all knew my mum very personally, and they could kind of relate on the level of the personal side of the loss, like the personal part of my mum. So I think they were quite easy to chat to about like just missing her and things we used to do and like reflection. But then not all of my family are Christian. So I think having Christian friends was like checking up on me and chatting through things was so helpful, because they kind of guided me back into the perspective of Grace. You know, you've got a faith, like let's view it through the Jesus lens. Let's view it through like your faith. And I think a combination of some really tight friends that I will forever like remember being there for me, and like my family members, especially like my dad. I'm very close to my dad, and like he knew what, and he's a Christian, so I think people who are close to me but also had a faith was like really helpful.
I also like what you said about seeing things through the Jesus lens. I might use that. I think that's really cool. Did you see God in everything going on?
Good question. I think in the actual like moments of whether it was a hard time when my mum was ill. So she was ill we knew she had cancer for about 2.5 months before she actually died. So there was a lot of time when I think about the tough times, I think of the loss I feel now and the grief, because that's different. But I also feel like when I was in the tough times when she was ill. So I think it was quite hard in the moment to see maybe the good when I was seeing someone that I loved really struggle. But kind of on reflection, I've been able to more see God in everything, because once you're out of a situation, you can kind of look back, if you know what I mean? Like you can kind of remove yourself from the situation. And I always do see actually, like looking back, like, as I said, like friends, like I view that, like so many of those key friends I view as a gift from God, because he knew that I'd need them. Or, you know, little things like, I remember I actually did have some days where I just felt peaceful when I think people wouldn't have thought that I'd be at peace. And like those little gifts that God gave me, and even the massive gift that I had a faith and that my mum had a faith, that was for sure the biggest help, because not only did I have someone and like a system to turn to in my relationship with God, I knew where my mum was. So that's kind of I was seeing God in that situation just because she had a faith anyways.
Yeah, I mean, your mum and dad were both big parts of church. Your mum was part of the leadership team we had going on. Your dad led worship like a few times a month, didn't he? And he's involved in lots of other things. So I think, it's good to kind of just talk about the reality of that. And even though you have a faith, seeing God in what was going on perhaps wasn't always easiest. Maybe on reflection it was, but I think I've tried to word these questions in a way which makes you answer it exactly how you want to answer it without me trying to say you say anything. So everything you said are your own words, and that's really really cool to hear. What advice would you give to people going through similar situations?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not one situation is the same, and don't take my advice as absolutely like golden, because I'm sure it's not. But just as a person coming from a place that I have had struggles in life, which are very real. Like, of course, I do see God in the things, but like, I would be the first person to admit that that time was really tough, and even now is really tough. I have bad days, even now.
Yeah.
But I think something that I struggled with the most was specifically when my mum was ill and maybe she was going in and out of hospital, had a big feeling of kind of unsettled and uncertain, and it made me feel quite anxious sometimes, not knowing what's happening. And I think that's an emotion that is quite applicable to most, struggles in life.
Yep.
And my biggest point of advice would be to turn to the Bible, because when I felt, for me, in my faith, that, in those times that everything was so uncertain, so rocky, I was like, where am I? I felt really ungrounded. I loved having the Bible as a point of, it says everything I need to know, and it's kind of grounding because it's got truth in it, and it kind of anchored me back to the points that really mattered and who God was to me. And it kind of, despite all these big struggles and these big feelings, it just was constantly reading truths over my life, really helped me kind of settle myself, kind of sit down, take a minute and go, okay, so I know this is true. This is what it means to me right now. And I know I'm going to struggle, but it's okay because I've got this support system. So I'd say advice would be to read the Bible. And I think there's a lot of times that those times I didn't want to read the Bible because I was maybe cross with God.
Yeah.
I was maybe angry or upset. But I'd kind of suggest, if you're that's a bit scary, ask like a Christian friend, maybe someone who's older than you, to read through it with you and understand how the Bible applies to our lives, not just in the happy moments, but also how it can be really useful when we're struggling.
Great. I mean, it's such good advice, and it wasn't what I thought you were going to say. So it's really good to hear what you said there. How do you deal with things nowadays?
I mean, every day is different, and I think, it's been a year and a half since all of these events, but I'm more specifically talking about my mum. That was like the big loss. Yeah. And I still have days I really struggle. And again, I'm quite an open person, so I'd quite happily say that. I think dealing with it now is not a linear process.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, it's not just going to get better every day. It's kind of ups and downs. So kind of knowing that it's okay to be sad, and that being sad doesn't mean that you're taking a step back in like your progress journey or with whatever you're dealing with. I think it's okay to feel those things, but also knowing like maybe support and like even like coping mechanisms or like things that you enjoy doing. So kind of dealing with it now in a practical way. Like for me, if you know me, you know that I love kind of the outdoors. I love walking. I've actually got a new puppy called Goose. Shout out to Goose. I love walking Goose. I love playing music. I love my instruments. And I just love having a cup of tea with a friend or doing something crafty. So I think knowing what makes you tick as a person and like your hobbies and your interests, I think being gracious with yourself, but also, okay, I feel like this. What's something I can do to help me get out this feeling, And I think like knowing just trial and error, like what takes your mind off things.
Yeah, great. Is there anything else that you would like to say that you think would help our listeners?
I think it's a really tough time being a teenager anyways, and I think you've got lots of kind of voices, lots of influences going on at school or, online. And I'd say like with that, within the like loss or maybe even just general struggle of life, finding someone that you can really look up to, kind of not to like teach you, but maybe just like hold your hand through life.
Yeah.
And I'd really suggest finding that person at a youth group, like a youth leader, or maybe you go to church for the first time and you find maybe like an older person, that you can relate to. I think being in friendship with other Christians, because then you can kind of, you'll take it in turns probably in life, like everyone struggles. And I know that I've had friends that I've helped in the past that then when I was needing help, they helped me. Having that Christian influence really, really helped me. So I'd say if you're not going to youth group, go to youth group, and maybe even try Rob's youth group, because I can vouch that it was absolutely insane.
Thanks, Grace. Brilliant. I just want to take the time to say thank you, Grace, for jumping on the podcast and doing this interview. Our church family kind of journeyed through it all at the same time, and your mum was incredible, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And
She was.
I think she'd be very proud of this interview that you've given, not I've given, and it can help people. So we hope it helps you. All right, let's say goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Grace, for sharing that stuff with us. Like, we were talking about that interview for a while, actually, after we both, after Rob did it and after I heard it, just about how much strength Grace has shown in the face of something so difficult. So we really hope that is helpful to anybody who's going through anything like that, anybody who's worried about those kinds of things happening, and how they might cope with those things. Rob, was there anything you particularly want to just highlight from that interview?
Yeah, I think it was just a really good interview. She is very aware, isn't she, of like when there are bad days, and who that she can open up to around her, and so she knows like what to do and who to talk to. And I thought that was really just mature. I know Dad very well, and I know that they're in contact a lot, and I know that's really helpful for them both. So that's just really, really good. So if that's something that you're going through, please do have the people that you can talk to, and know who they are, so that can be a good thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest things I took away from that was have the right people around you, the right kinds of friends and family. And her biggest bit of advice was turning to the Bible, wasn't it? Like, even when you feel like you don't want to, even when it feels like there's nothing in there that's going to help you, Grace's biggest bit of advice was turn to Jesus and turn to his word, which is such an encouragement, even in the small, difficult things. Yeah,
definitely. Like, again, how mature on her part to be able to share that with us all as well. So yeah, amazing. Thank you again, Grace. We so appreciated that, and we know that other people will as well. So Rob, what are we going to move on to talking about next week? So next week we are looking at what about different churches. You have interviewed and you've interviewed one of your friends, or you will interview one of your friends to get their opinion on that. And when we say different churches, we mean things like Anglican Church, Baptist Church, Methodist Church, and if they're all the same or different or what, and it'll be interesting. Yeah, great. So tune in next week to find out all about different types of churches and what that means for us as Christians. See you soon, Rob. See you soon, Izzy. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.